My brother asked me to sing at his wedding as a gift, even though I haven't sung in 10 years. He knew why I stopped but kept pushing. When I finally said no, he told everyone I was being dramatic. I used to sing, not casually, not as a hobby. It was the only thing I was ever truly good at, and the only thing that ever made me feel like I had something worth giving. From the time I was 7 until I was 19, singing was my whole identity. School choirs, local competitions, church performances every Sunday. My voice teacher, Mrs. Albright, worked with me every Tuesday for 6 years. She told me I had something special, and that if I worked hard enough, I could make a career out of it. I believed her. When I was 19, I auditioned for a music program at a college 3 states away. It was a big deal. I prepared for months, drove 10 hours with my mom, sang in front of a panel of 4 professors in a room that smelled like old wood and felt like a church. I gave everything I had. My voice cracked once near the end and I thought it was over, but I pushed through and finished strong. I didn't get in. The letter arrived 3 weeks later in a thin white envelope that I knew was a rejection before I even opened it. The rejection came 3 weeks later in a thin envelope. The letter was 2 sentences. Thank you for auditioning. We are unable to offer you a place in this year's program. That part I could have handled. What I couldn't handle was what came after. My dad found out I didn't get in and told the whole family at Thanksgiving. Not gently. He stood up at the table and said, "Well, the singing dream is officially dead. Time to get a real job." Half the table laughed. My uncle actually clapped like dad had just delivered a punchline. My brother Nolan grinned from across the table with a mouthful of turkey. I sat there with my fork halfway to my mouth while my entire family laughed at the one thing I'd ever cared about. Something inside me went dark and quiet and never turned back on. I stopped singing that same week. Not a slow fade, not a break, completely and permanently. I took down the posters in my room. I threw out my sheet music. I deleted every recording I'd ever made of myself. I told Mrs. Albright I was done and she cried on the phone. That was 10 years ago. I haven't sung a note since. Not in the car, not in the shower, not even humming. The part of me that used to do that just went quiet and never came back. I got a desk job at a payroll company. I built a normal, quiet life. I made peace with being ordinary, and I was okay with that. It took years, but I got there. I don't talk about singing, and nobody in my family brings it up because most of them forgot it ever mattered to me in the first place. I don't resent my family for what happened. I just don't trust them with that part of me anymore. Then Nolan got engaged. His fiancée, Grace, is a genuinely kind person, well organized, and planned every detail of the wedding down to the napkin folds. 3 months before the ceremony, Nolan called me. "I have a favor to ask. I want you to sing at the wedding." I didn't say anything for a few seconds. "I don't sing anymore. You know that." "I know, but it would mean a lot. Grace loves your voice. Mom showed her old videos. Those are 10 years old. I don't do that anymore. Come on, it's one song. You don't even have to practice that much. Just do it as a gift. We're not asking for presents." I said no, clearly and directly. He pushed anyway. He called again the next week, and the week after that. He texted me links to songs he thought would be good. He sent audio samples. He found YouTube tutorials on warming up your voice after years of not singing, like that was helpful. He sent me a voice memo of Grace saying how much it would mean to her. He got Mom involved. Mom called on a Sunday and said, "Honey, it's just one song. You'd make your brother so happy." I stopped singing for a reason. Everyone in this family knows that. That was a long time ago. You need to move past it. I have moved past it. That's why I don't sing. She didn't understand the difference. Moving past something doesn't mean doing it again. It means building a life that doesn't need it anymore. Nolan called one more time. I told him no firmly and clearly. I said I loved him. I said I'd be at the wedding. I said I'd help with setup, give a toast, do whatever else he needed, but I was not going to sing. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "You're being dramatic. It's one song. You act like I'm asking you to relive some tragedy. You are. You didn't get into one school 10 years ago. One rejection. That's not a tragedy. That's called life. Everyone deals with it." And Dad announcing it at Thanksgiving while everyone laughed? That's just life too? He was joking. I wasn't laughing. Nolan hung up. The next day, Mom texted me that Nolan had told the whole family I refused to sing at his wedding because I was holding a grudge. His version made me sound petty and selfish. Nobody called to ask my side. I showed up to the wedding. I helped set up chairs. I clapped when they kissed. I drove home alone that night with the radio off.